Okay, we live?
And everything tells me we are live. You are good to go. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Madam Sport Clerk, and good evening and welcome to the City of Barrie's Property Standards Appeal Committee meeting. I will now call the Property Standards Appeal Committee to order. This meeting will be held electronically in accordance with Section 238 of the Municipal Act 2001, which provides for electronic participation. I will go over the rules and procedures for benefit of the committee members, participants, and the viewing public. This meeting is being live streamed via the City of Barrie YouTube channel. All participants will be muted upon entering the meeting and throughout when they are not speaking to reduce background noise. All web cameras will be turned on for the committee members for the duration of the meeting. If a member needs to leave their seat, they are asked to leave the camera on so it is recognized that you are away, and the meeting activities will be held until their return. All members of the committee participating via online video conference will vote by a physical show of hands. A recorded vote will be taken by the deputy clerk. Appellants, agents, owners, and delegates are participating via Zoom or via telephone. All material provided in written format has been provided to the committee and will form part of the meeting record. In the event of a connection or a service interruption occurring that affects quorum of the committee, we may recess the meeting for up to 15 minutes to gain quorum. If quorum is not achieved and live streaming stops, the meeting is adjourned. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to City of Barrie Property Standards Bylaw 2011-138 related to the performance of property maintenance. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct an appeal hearing pursuant to City of Barrie Property Standards Bylaw 2011-138 submitted by Mr. John Areno on behalf of himself as the occupant of the property and Amelia Areno, identified in the appeal notice as the owner of the property at 66 Stony Brook Crescent. Will the committee support clerk now confirm for the record that proper notification was delivered to the appellants in accordance with bylaw 2011-138?
Proper notification was sent out.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This hearing will be conducted as a quasi-judicial proceeding. Each party will be allotted time to present evidence, present witnesses, conduct cross-examinations of witnesses, and make submissions as they deem appropriate. The appeal hearing pursuant to bylaw 2011-138 will now be heard for Amelia Areno and John Areno for the violation and refusal to perform the necessary property repairs and/or maintenance as set out in bylaw 2011-138, sections 5.01, 5.04, 5.05, 5.06, 19.01, and 19.02. At this time, will the agent for the respondent City of Barrie please identify themselves?
Good evening to all. My name is Sandra Doyle. I represent the City of Barrie today.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle.
Thank you.
And will the appellant or their representative please identify themselves? Mr. Areno, I believe you're on mute. If you can unmute yourself so we can hear you. There we go.
Hi, it's John Areno. Just for the record, my mom, Amelia Areno, is deceased.
Thank you, Mr. Areno. At this time, the floor is now open to the respondent City of Barrie to present evidence and call any witnesses.
Thank you. Good evening to all. And my name is Sandra Doyle. I represent the City of Barrie and for this appeal today. I asked the committee to consider the sections of the Barrie bylaw 2011-38. I would direct the committee to bylaw number, page number 5, the standards at section number 4. And in this instant, it specifically lays out what is required by a property owner in the city of Barrie. And I would, under the scope section, the standards of maintenance and the occupancy of the property prescribed in parts 1 of 2 of the bylaw. And it continues forward. But I would also like to refer at this point to the same bylaw under section 11 of the regarding conduct. This is under Appendix A of the conduct of proceedings. It's on page 16 of the bylaw. And Madam Clerk, I believe has a block copy of the bylaw there. If we could just show section 11, conduct of the proceedings. And it clearly highlights as to what is available to the in regard to these proceedings. And I direct the chair to 11.2 subsection B. It says the chair shall explain everything in attendance, which the chair, I thank you. And I would just like to highlight one portion of it. The chair should advise those present by the committee that will only be considering the compliance and non-compliance of a property or building with respect to the standards of the bylaw and the time granted for compliance. All evidence should therefore restrict to these matters. The hearing is not to determine the resolution of a landlord and tenant dispute. So it's strictly compliance and non-compliance. I understand that there's an application on this appeal before the committee that states that the appellant would like to discuss the fees that were implemented for him and any conduct of the officer. I don't believe that is available to this committee. So with that being said, I would ask this committee if the appeal could be dismissed on its merits, that it does not comply with what is required of this committee. And if the committee would like us to call any evidence, Mr. Chair, regarding the offenses, we're quite willing to do so. Thank you.
So, Madam Prosecutor, I invited the city to begin presenting evidence and calling witnesses, and it appears that I mean this is a quasi-judicial hearing, but I'm going to assume that you've essentially made a pretrial motion to have this dismissed. So, Mr. Areno, I see you've been listening to Ms. Doyle.
Yes.
She is asking the committee to essentially dismiss your application without even hearing evidence. She's outlined her reasons for why she wants the committee to do so. At this time, if you wish, you may provide your submissions to the committee as to why you do not think that should happen.
First of all, I think it's personal prosecution against myself. I've got several bylaw officers that constantly come. I've got video surveillance cameras with audio where I have one City of Barrie official with a pickup truck in front of my house on a Wednesday. Then I have Jason driving by with the passenger window open, videotaping it. Then I got Friday morning being served or Ryan coming to the home.
Okay.
I don't get notifications. I get convicted, a registered letter 2 weeks down the road.
So, Mr. Areno, I understand I can see you're obviously you have some concerns with potential conduct with certain individuals. But as Ms. Doyle indicated, that's not something that the committee can, we have no jurisdiction over that. Our jurisdiction here is very limited, and it's limited to this. We can only review the property standards order And based on the submissions provided to the committee, we can either uphold the order, dismiss the order, or we can modify the order. That's all we can do. We cannot do anything else, including if you have some grievances against certain individuals, we cannot assist you with that.
Yeah.
So what I would invite you, or what I would suggest, Mr. Reno, is if you would like to present your case, you are completely entitled to do so. This is your appeal. This is why we're here. And I'm going to put this to the committee because as chair, I conduct the meeting, but I don't make decisions in a vacuum. I'm going to put this to the committee for a decision. But I would invite you to proceed with your appeal, as is your right to do so. But if you do, please heed Ms. Doyle's remarks, with which I agree. You need to keep your submissions on point, specifically with respect to what the property standards order alleges you did or did not do, and nothing else. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
I have no problems cleaning up the property. Where I have my issues is that they're constantly coming all the time. I got the
Okay.
containers on a Friday night. Monday, I get a violation.
Okay, so and again, Mr. Reno, I can see you're definitely not happy with that, and I appreciate that, but that, again, that's something the committee cannot assist you with. So what I'm going to do at this time is, committee members, you've been listening to the submissions from Ms. Doyle. You've heard the reply from Mr. Reno. Essentially the motion, or Ms. Doyle is asking that this matter be dismissed without proceeding to the appeal. Mr. Reno would like to proceed with his appeal. So what I would ask is if there's any member of the committee at this time who would like to make a motion to dismiss the appeal as requested by Ms. Doyle, then I would ask for such a motion to be put on the floor now. Seeing none, Ms. Doyle, the committee has dismissed your request to proceed to dismiss the appeal. So at this time, I would respectfully ask the city continue with presenting evidence and calling witnesses.
I thank that Mr. Chairman, the committee for the decision. If we can proceed with the evidence in this matter, then please. At this time, we would like to call the officer, Jason Shaw. Please, if we could have him sworn.
Mr. Shaw, are you okay with being affirmed, seeing as we don't have a Bible in front of us?
Yes, I'm fine.
Do you solemnly affirm the evidence that you're about to give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do so swear.
And for the purposes of the committee and the record ahead of you, can you spell your name first and last, please?
Jason, Jason, Shaw, SHAW.
Thank you. And at this point, Mr. Shaw, can you advise the committee as to what your position is of employment?
Yes, I started with the city in December 2006 until presently. I'm a municipal law enforcement officer. Currently, right now, I have the position of as property standards officer with the city of Barrie.
Thank you. And did you have any dealings with Mr. John Areno throughout your career with the city?
Yes, I
regarding
have.
property standards? Thank you.
I have.
And did you take notes regarding that incident?
Yes, I did.
And are you going to be referring to those notes today if allowed?
Yes, I will be.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the notes?
No.
And contained in all of the evidence that you would like to use today, what exactly are you asking to be asked for permission for in detail? Is it simply your notebook? What are you looking to use today?
I'll be looking to use my notes along with the photographs that I've taken.
Thank you. Now, did you have an opportunity to tell, I apologize, can you please tell the committee as to what your dealings with Mr. Areno were, starting from the beginning, please?
I first dealt with Mr. Areno in 2020. It'd be the fall of 2020. A complaint came in about the property. An investigation ensued. It was then in compliance after that. My most recent interaction with Mr. Reno fell in March 2nd, 2022. The reason for my involvement in this case is that a previous officer just left the employ of the city of Barrie, Officer Watt. I was then handled this file to deal with.
Thank you. And what did you undertake to do on March 2nd when you took over this file?
I attended at the location. It was just shortly before noon. I spoke to Mr. Reno. Brief chat at his front walkway. So then I proceeded to do my inspection of the property. It began with the front yard and the side yard. The west side of the property, or if you're looking at the house from the left hand, I looked at the left-hand side of the house. Would you like me to just tell you the items that I saw at the front yard?
If I could ask Mr. Chairman, if Madam Secretary, Madam Clerk would please put up the photos from March 2nd, please. So that officer can verify that these are the photos that he took on that day.
Okay, so I'm just opening that up. It's just going to take a second. I do apologize. And please let me know if you can see this.
I can see that.
Thank you.
Officer, was this photograph taken by you?
Yes, it was. It was taken on March the 2nd, 2022.
And what is the address of this property, please?
It is 66 Stony Brook.
Okay. Does this picture depict as you saw on that day?
It does, yes.
So there's a series of pictures we are going to show you. I would just like for you to verify that each one is taken by you
Yes.
on that day, and please describe where it is in location to the house.
Okay, so this very first picture, it's on the driveway. You can see that there's a trailer, possibly two there. And in the foreground, you'll see that it's a double garage. As you can see, if you look in the foreground, the one garage door is slightly ajar. And due to the time of year, there's items under the snow. That pretty much concludes this photo.
The next photo, please.
This is a shot of a photo of the vehicles at the end of the driveway.
And the next photo, please. These the same two vehicles?
That is correct.
And the next vehicle, and the next photo, please. What is
This is a photo of the motorcycle with it blacked out as the license plate.
Thank you. And the next photo, please. And what is this, please?
This is another photo of the trailer that is on the property, and the various items on the driveway that are in contravention.
Are these the same two vehicles that were previously shown parked behind?
Yes, that is correct.
And this two storage containers, are they exclusively on the driveway?
I believe so, yes.
Next photo, please.
The reason for this photo is I just wanted to show that the trailer had a license plate.
Thank you. And the next photo, please.
The reason for this photo is just the items that are around on the driveway and in the front yard of the home.
Okay. Now, I can view two doors. It looks like garage doors in the background.
Oh, yes, I apologize. Once again, that is in the foreground. That is the driveway, the two garage doors. You can see that the left-hand side one is just slightly ajar.
Okay, thank you. Next photo, please. These are the same
This,
garage doors?
yes, it is. Somewhat of a better shot. As you can see, the left-hand side one and the right one, they appear that they are in disrepair. They are open. The one that is closest to the ladder, I guess you could say, it appears to be in disrepair and off its tracks. As you can also see, there's items in front of the garage, a gas can, a ladder, just other items.
Okay, and the top right-hand corner, there's a red vehicle, and then right in front of the vehicle, there seems to be a red orange type square. What is that?
It's a little difficult to make out. I'm just going to refer to my photos. Just give me 1 second.
Madam Clerk is enlarging it for you.
Oh.
Would this be the front of the trailer or is it sitting on the ground? Is this the skid?
It could be. There are a bunch of gas containers. There's a tire. There's numerous tires. There may also be, I believe it is, a truck back. I'm missing the word here. The tailgate, the rear tailgate.
Okay. Next photograph, please.
This shot I took specifically of the garage doors, disrepair, off its tracks.
Okay, thank you. And then next photo, please.
Specifically, once again, I took a shot of the right-hand side garage door. You can see the dent halfway up.
Okay. Thank you. And next photograph, please. Now, where is this located, this photograph?
This is just on the front porch area. So this is a piece of household material. I would probably say maybe an entertainment unit that should not be outside.
Now, in relation to the front of the house and the garage doors, where was this located? To the left or right in front of the garage doors?
This would be to the right of the house.
Okay. Thank you. And next photo, please.
This is also in the front yard. Due to the snow, you can see that there's 4 car tires. They should not be stored in the front of a property, either at the side of a house or in a garage.
Thank you. Now, is there one more picture? Yes, there is. Thank you. Madam Officer, where is this in relation to the front of the house?
Now, if you're looking at the house, this is the left-hand side of the house or the west-facing wall of the house. Due to the time of year, once again, you can see that there are items down along the side of it.
Okay. And in the background of this picture, say halfway down the house, is
Yes.
that a pile of tires?
I'm just pulling up my photo. Yes, potentially, yes. More tires.
And I believe that's all the pictures from March 2nd. And these depicts as to what you observed on that day?
That is correct.
And is your testimony you took all of these pictures on that day?
I did.
Thank you. Now, then further to that, what did you do following?
Following that, I returned to the office. I did my notes and I also downloaded the photos and then I created an order.
Okay, and can you advise what the order, what is the order?
The order, I'm just going to get it. Just bear with me. The order was sent out on the 4th of March, and it entails the contraventions.
Okay. I asked Madam Clerk if we could share the order from March 4th, please. Now, officer, if we could move it up just a little bit so the officer can see if there is a signature on this document, please. Is that your signature, officer?
That is my signature.
And was there anything attached to this?
There was a schedule or Appendix A.
Okay, and what does the order and this, as it's highlighted on the screen, Appendix A, what is the purpose of both?
The purpose is to send out the orders, to send it out to the owner or the occupants of the house to let them know that there are contraventions of the bylaw. They're specifically set out. The sections are set out, and then on the right-hand side, there's action required.
Okay, and with those actions, is that what Appendix A is specifically speaking to?
It is.
So if we could go up just a little bit, Madam Clerk, so that we can see the order again. Thank you. Now on paragraph 2, I ask you to read the first sentence. I can read it for you, officer.
No, pardon me. I didn't hear the question.
On your letter from March 4th,
Yes.
can you read the first sentence, please?
Oh, sure. It is hereby ordered that the item set out in the attached Appendix A be corrected within 30 days.
Okay. And how did you determine Amelia Areno and John Areno that this should be sent to?
Through my notes and through my photographs,
Okay, but how
and
did
and also reviewing of the bylaw.
okay, but how did you establish that it should be sent to these two specific people?
Oh, we send the orders to the occupants and as well as the owner as by the tax roll.
We ask that this time the tax roll be shown, Madam Clerk, please. Thank you. Is this, and if we could, is this scan down, please, Madam Clerk, to show the committee that it's certified? Thank you. Thank you. And this was sent specifically to who? If you need Madam Clerk to go up, then.
It was sent to the homeowner,
And who would that be?
Amelia Areno.
And you also addressed your order to a John Areno, and why is that?
He is the occupant of the house.
Thank you. So following that, what did you do after that?
The order was sent out. And
How did you send it?
I sent it by registered mail.
Okay. Did you get confirmed receipt of that?
I did.
I believe Madam Clerk has that on file. Now, to your best of your knowledge, is this receipt of the document you sent?
It is. It is.
So did that conclude your dealings with the defendant in the period of March of what year?
This year, 2022.
So did you have any other dealings beside the 4th of March, the 2nd of March and the 4th of March with Mr. Areno or the occupant Amelia Areno?
No, that was it.
Thank you. So following that, did you have occasion to follow up on a 30-day order that you had issued?
I did attend this week, and I did proceed to take some photos of the area just to see if there was compliance.
Thank you. As this time, Mr. Chairman, if Madam Clerk can please show the photos from July 6th, please. Now, officer, can you advise on the series of the pictures we're about to show from July 6th, where are they? Where is the pictures from in relationship to an address?
So this is 66 Stony Brook once again. This is the west side of the property, or if you're looking at it from the street, this is the left-hand side. As you can see, there are items along the side of the west side of the house.
Okay. Next photo, please, Madam Clerk.
This is a close-up of the shots that I took on that same day, July the 6th. As you can see, there's skids, there's a traffic cone, there's various other items.
Okay, now, officer, we did see prior on the side of the house a series of tires.
Yes.
Where would the tires be in relation to the skids?
In that same area.
To the best of your knowledge, did you see tires at the side of the house on July 6th?
I didn't specifically see them there, but I did see them in the rear yard.
Okay, next photo, please. And is this, we can see the number on the house of 66.
That's correct.
Is this 66 Stony Brook?
Yes, it is. It is 66 Stony Brook.
And in the driveway, there is a car and a motorcycle, is that correct?
That is correct.
And to
In
the
the-
right of the motorcycle, what is that item? It's orange and black.
I'd have to, I'll just take a look at my photos. Just give me
Madam
one
Clerk, I'm
moment.
marking it for you.
It looks like it's a plastic container, which has some other debris in it. Should not be in the front yard.
The long object that is in the right beside, directly across from the rear
Oh.
tire of the motorcycle, please.
Oh, sorry. It looks to appear, it appears to be a snowplow blade. And that is in the front yard.
Did you not have an opportunity to see a close-up of that? Is it a snowplow blade?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Next photograph, please. Now, is this the same vehicle that we saw in the last photo?
Yes, it is. So you can
And-
also see that there's still, there's items, there's debris on the front. This is the driveway. That's the trailer. In the foreground, once again, you can see the two garage doors. One is up and it's up. Then there's also like gas cans, and there is the red tailgate for the truck.
Now, on the left-hand side, there seems to be blue doors. What are they attached to on the trailer?
It appears to be some kind of shed or roll-up
Okay,
door.
next photograph, please. Now, what is this, please, and where is it located?
This is located, this is a trailer that's missing, it appears it's missing its wheels. I don't see a license plate, and it is on the boulevard, the city boulevard.
Okay. Now, what else is also on the boulevard? See, is that a black vehicle?
Yes,
Is that the same vehicle? Have you seen that vehicle before?
It was the one from in the wintertime in March.
Okay. Next photograph, please. Sorry, I believe we've seen that one, Madam Clerk. Okay, and this, and what is this depicting, Officer?
This is the rear yard of the property. As you can see, there's a wheelbarrow, there's a wheel on the left-hand side, and then in the right-hand side, or in the middle part of it, there are a bunch of tires. And
Okay.
if you look, you will see those tires. I believe they appear to be the ones that were on the front yard at my first pictures in March 2nd, 2022, which are now in the rear yard.
Okay, and I believe there's one more picture from July 6th, and that is.
This is just another photo of the rear yard. There's two window frames and the grass is long.
Okay, so Officer, thank you, Madam Clerk. That's all the photos we need to show at this point. Thank you. Now, Officer, just a few more questions. These photographs from March 2nd to July 6th, and yesterday, has there been an increase, a decline, or stayed the same of the amount of debris on the property?
I think there's been a minimal amount of debris moved. There still are contraventions of the trailer. The tires are still in the back. They've gone from the front to the back. There's still items on the left-hand side. There may be minimal amounts of items that have been removed, but there's still contraventions.
Has there been any visible attempt to clean up any of this debris anywhere on the property?
Perhaps a little bit on the driveway, but that's about it.
Okay. So have you had any other dealings with Mr. Reno?
No,
And all of these photographs were taken by you and they clearly depict everything as you testified, is that correct?
yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions for the officer.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle.
Okay.
Mr. Reno, this is your opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Shaw on the evidence that he just provided. I'll just note at the outset before you begin, this is not your opportunity to present your evidence. You'll have your opportunity later on. So right now, this is your opportunity specifically to cross-examine Mr. Shaw on his evidence. And again, please keep in mind as you ask your questions, what the committee can and cannot do. Specifically, I just want to underscore that we did hear your complaints early on in this meeting, but we cannot address any of those complaints at this meeting. So with that in mind, the floor is now open to you to cross-examine Mr. Shaw.
Thank you very much. First of all, Mr. Shaw said that he only had the one time dealing with me, which was in June, I believe, or what, March, which is fabricated lie because I presented videos where in November of 2020, where he approached my house, and I have video of that when I had first the containers. There was another incident way back as the beginning of COVID, where he showed up at my house on the Monday morning, not wearing a mask, introducing himself to my wife. I had a second meeting with him the following day.
Sorry, Mr. Reno, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I have to ask you to please ask your question to Mr. Shaw. There's a certain amount of preliminary introduction before questions, but I think you've kind of overstepped that, and I would ask you to put your question to Mr. Shaw now, please.
Okay. So, Mr. Shaw, you said that we only had the one encounter in March of 2020, correct? That is your testimony?
I had an encounter with you in the fall of 2020.
Okay, but you just testified to the council that you never had any prior dealings with me.
I did at the start of my testimony.
No, you said when the prosecutor asked you, did you have any other contact with Mr. Reno? And you said no. Is this true or not?
I said that I had interactions with you in 2020, in the fall of 2020.
She asked you specifically, did you have any other encounters other than the last one?
I've stated it twice now. That's when I had your interactions, in the fall of 2020.
So let's just be clear so everybody understands the numbers of how many times you and I spoke face to face.
Okay. You had a file open and I came in the fall of 2020 and we concluded that one. And then I've showed up in the March 2nd of 2022.
So you're saying that there's only been 2 times that you and I physically spoke?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have to say to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Areno. And again, you will have an opportunity to provide your case later on. Does the city have any reply evidence?
No, your worship. Thank you. The officer has been truthful in his testimony regarding the events.
Thank you. No other witnesses for the city to call, Ms. Doyle?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Mr. Areno, the floor is now open to you to present any witnesses and any evidence that you wish.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, council.
Mr.
First of
Areno,
all-
are you okay with a solemn affirmation?
Oh, yes.
Do you solemnly affirm that the evidence that you're about to give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And for the purposes of the committee and the record that you're speaking, can you please spell your first and last name?
My first name is John, last name is Areno. It's spelled John, last name Orrino, Orrino.
Thank you, Mr. Areno.
Go ahead with your evidence, Mr. Areno.
Okay. I've been having an ongoing issue with the city bylaw. Originally, way back when Lisa was part of the building codes. I've spent over $80,000 on landscaping to beautify my home. The only reason I purposely left this the way it is was because I wanted my day in court. I've received several violations and not one of those letters ever said that I was able to appeal until this last one. And that's why I'm here now to appeal. I'm constantly getting registered letters 2 weeks after the fact, already being convicted. They've got bylaws that conflict themselves. You've got zoning that says one thing, property standards that says another. One says I can have a garbage can in front of the house. The other one says I can't have it in there. One says that I can't use my plow on city property, which is the boulevard, sidewalk, and the road. The other one is if I don't clean my sidewalk, I get a violation. It's like you guys got conflict. And the only reason, and I've been pig-headed and stubborn because I was never able to fight or dispute any of these violations. Every time I wanted to know who did the complaint, no, can't tell you who the complaint is. I never get a notice at the beginning to fix it. And that's why I purposely left everything the way it was, because I was waiting for, like they say in the letter, for the city to come and clean it up and charge me for it. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. And I deliberately left it because I wanted my day in court. And they kept telling me I couldn't get my day in court. It didn't exist. The committee doesn't even know. I've applied for a boulevard enhancement permit to beautify my home. Those shipping containers were on the driveway, delivered on a Friday night. Monday morning at 8:45, Jason was already at my house, filing a complaint. They're rental containers. Then I get a complaint that I can't have a structural building on my driveway, the same containers. And that's when I picked up the containers and put them on a trailer. There is a house directly across the street from me that has the exact same 2 containers in the middle of his driveway, but yet they never got a complaint from the city. This is personal prosecution against me. I've got videos that you can see that Jason has been to the house with confrontation with me, where he denied he'd never been. There's confrontation when he's driving by in his car, videotaping it. You know, like this is personal prosecution, and that's why I wanted my day in court. You think I enjoy this? I've got a $250,000 vehicle sitting in the driveway. I've got over $500,000 of vehicles between motorcycles and 2 Mercedes. You think I enjoy this? I spent $90,000 in landscape to beautify my home. The reason I'm doing this and I'm fighting with a few of my neighbors is because I need to prove a point. And all the violations, you can go back at the last few years. Not one of them says that I can appeal. There's not one that one day it's $105 fine, another time it's $300 fine. Like, where is there posted that there's a set fee or a fine? They say it's a fee, but it's a fine. You know, they're getting paid to go out to investigate. They're under the same contract as the City of Barrie Police. If the City of Barrie Police gets called out to a domestic dispute or an investigation, homeowner doesn't get a ticket or a fine. That's his job to go out to investigate a complaint. But there is no complaint, it's themselves.
All right, Mr. Areno, I'm going to have to interject here. I'm just, and again, I appreciate that you're upset, and I think the committee members can see that as well. But we're venturing off into an area that, as I mentioned at the outset, the committee has no jurisdiction to assist you with that. I don't want to cut you off, but I would just ask that if you do have evidence that specifically speaks to the property standards order in question, if you could please provide that and wrap up your submissions, we would appreciate it.
I mean, I submitted videos. There's videos there. I unfortunately don't have my briefcase with me. I forgot it at the office. But if you scroll through, you can see that there's another incident where Jason's at my house. And he clearly says that he wasn't. And this was during COVID. I've even called and complained about him showing up at the house with no mask, where he's literally 12 inches away from my wife's face with no mask on. And this is at the start of COVID. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have my laptop, so I can't pull up the files or the pictures, but I'm pretty sure you have them in front of you.
The committee members do have the materials that you submitted through the committee support.
That's correct.
Yeah, so what I would ask then, Mr. Areno, is that if you're done with your submissions, then I would like to give Ms. Doyle the opportunity to ask you some questions if she has any. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Doyle, the floor is open to you at this time if you wish to ask Mr. Areno any questions by way of cross-examination.
Thank you. Just a few questions, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Areno, you stated that the city has been coming to your property for a long time. How long has that been?
Probably about 2 years since my mom passed away.
2 years?
Well, they've been ongoing for several years when Lisa used to be part of the building and then went into bylaw. That's when she would give me a violation for having my grass over 6 inches. I don't have a blade of grass on my property, front or back.
Okay.
This is where it all started. And they're giving me violations on stuff that I don't even have. I have one where it says that to repair the infraction, when you look at what the damage is or what I'm supposed to fix, there's nothing checked off. So what am I supposed to fix or comply to when there's not even a check mark?
Now, Mr. Areno, you say this has been going on in excess of 2 years, correct?
Correct.
So you received the letter with the attachment that was shown to the court today, to the committee
Correct.
today, with the attachment of the appendix. There's things checked off on that, is there not?
Yes, there is. And this
And-
is the only letter that actually says that I can appeal, because I've got all the previous letters that I received and not one of them says that I can appeal.
Okay, and I appreciate that, sir. But the Appendix A that was attached to your letter from Mr. Shaw on March 4th was checked off and told you what you had to clean up, correct?
Correct.
And you elected not to clean it up. Is that right?
Because I wanted my day in court to show the court the exact evidence of how it was and what it is. That's why I did not want to tamper or add to the situation.
Okay.
And
Now,
if you
if
actually
you ever-
look, it has been majority cleaned up.
I'm sorry, sir, the last
The
part?
trailer has been removed. The box is a dump trailer that's in the front of the house, not a trailer, which I put there, and it's not interfering with anything. And I'm actually putting the debris in the bin, but yet I get a ticket for parking on the boulevard.
Okay,
Not
but
a trailer.
sir,
dump
correct me if I'm wrong, you've had since March 4th to yesterday to do this, to rectify this situation. You
Yes,
have done nothing,
And I
correct?
have done, the tires were removed, put in the back. The pond is all up and running. What you were seeing, that orange container, was the shop vac that I was vacuuming up the leaves.
Sir.
Yes,
the
I did a
container-
violation for having a vacuum to clean my house.
Sir,
Yes,
the containers that are in your driveway.
they're on a trailer. They're not
Hold
in
on,
my
hold
driveway.
on, you need to let me finish the question, okay?
Yeah.
Those trailers, that trailer with those containers, how long have they been there?
I would say about a year and a half, 2 years, November of, I believe, 2000.
Okay, is there any reason from November of 2000 until March of this year, could not have cleaned up the property, put everything in those containers and moved it off-site?
That's exactly why I got the containers. When Mr. Shaw showed up in November to complain about the containers, that was the whole reason I rented those containers, to put everything in before the winter.
Okay,
But
but
because
sir,
of the conflict, and me being Italian and pig-headed, and I'll be the first one to admit to it, okay, I deliberately did not want to do anything until I got my day in court. And since he wasn't providing me a day in court, I was just being pig-headed and stubborn because I wanted my day in court. I wanted to prove to everybody that this is personal harassment. The containers weren't even on my property 72 hours, and I'm getting a violation. And they're rental containers.
okay, but sir, it's not simply containers that is around your property, correct?
No,
There's
correct. But
tires,
that's the
there's-
whole reason. And as I said to Mr. Shaw when he came, because at that particular time, my mom just passed away. On the 17th of November, she passed away.
And I'm sorry that your mother passed away, sir, but this has been going on for all.
Correct,
What if you-
because I want my day in court. I'm being convicted on stuff that they don't even tell me about. I put a bumper in my driveway because I'm repairing it, and I'm not allowed to repair my bumper on my own personal vehicle. I get a citation for running an automotive business.
Mr. Chair,
They
I
give
would
me a
ask that,
violation for having my grass more than 6 inches tall. I don't have a blade of grass on my property. If the citations were legit, then fine. Yes, I agree with you about the containers. I agree with you but that's because now I said enough is enough and I'm not going to do anything.
okay, but sir, you stated in your testimony, and I'm going to ask you, please let me finish my question. You stated in your testimony that bylaw has been coming to your house for 2 years.
Correct.
You also stated that you didn't know why they were coming there. Is that
They would
correct?
come all the time when I would get a letter in the mail. 2 weeks after the fact, they weren't coming to my house. They were just driving by and writing up violations.
Okay, I understand that,
If they
sir.
would have been nice enough to knock on the door and say, listen, John, and I would have been nice. But when somebody shows up, like Jason during COVID with no mask, and I had to go under 72-hour mandatory, not on one occasion, on 2 occasions.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, I would ask Mr. Areno, allow me to finish my questions to him, and he can answer my questions.
Yeah, Mr. Areno, we can definitely see that you're upset with the questions and the proceedings, but you do need to allow Ms. Doyle to finish her question before you begin your response.
Okay.
So, Mr. Reno, you state in your testimony that bylaws been showing up for 2 years. And you
Correct.
also state that you do not know why they're showing up. You don't know what you're supposed to do, and you got an invoice. When did you get the first invoice, sir?
August 14, 2019.
What did you do about that invoice, sir?
Okay. We paid it. It said clean up the rubbish and debris in front of the household waste.
Okay,
Household waste must be stored in a rigid container or secured lid.
okay.
Remove or dispose of any machinery or automotive parts.
Okay.
Okay,
So, sir, the debris in your driveway and down the side of your house and in the backyard is not simply stuff that should be there. You have numerous tires. Is that correct on your property?
that's correct. I used to have 14 vehicles. I'm a general contractor.
Okay, you have,
Sorry for interrupting, but I normally store them underneath where you probably didn't get close enough look, underneath the deck that's there. There's a 10 by 20, 4-foot high, and that's where I store the lawnmower, the riding tractor, and I usually store my tires underneath there.
okay, but as of yesterday, the picture from July 6th of your backyard, there's tires in the backyard, correct?
Correct. Because as of April 27th, I was sick and I've got to go in for surgery tomorrow. So there's been a lot of health issues going on.
Okay, so here's a straightforward question to you, sir. Have you any intention of cleaning up this debris?
Certainly, 100%. I wanted my day in court to prove that I'm being personally prosecuted. Once everything is out on the open, and this is the first time I was able to appeal, because for the last 2 years, I have not been able to appeal. I just literally get a fine with different random numbers to it.
Okay, and when you got those fines, did you make any phone calls to ask them specifically? Hold on, sir, if you let me finish. Any phone calls, any inquiries as to what you specifically had to do?
There was a phone call to shortly after I complained about Jason. I believe it was the COVID, whatever. I can't remember her name, but she was the supervisor of the department. And she agreed not to add on any more fees if I cleaned up. I did clean up and then I continuously got the fees. So I turned around and said, well, you guys are reneging on your promise. So I'm going to renege on my promises.
So, sir, from November to March, November of last year to March of this year, you haven't cleaned up. Is that yes or no?
Oh, yes, I have cleaned up. As you see the pictures, the one trailer has been removed. The containers, the front of the house, at least a quarter of, or I should say a third, has been cleaned up. The tires have been removed. The pond is all cleaned up. I would literally started cutting down the grass, but unfortunately, as of April, I've been very ill.
And sir, how do you account for all the debris in the backyard then? And the side of the house?
Because that's the stuff that has to go underneath my deck. But again, I'm ill. So there's limitations to what I can do when I can do it.
Okay, sir. Is there not someone that you could hire or assist you with this?
I've tried. Again, I haven't been working in 2 years. My mom passed away. I'm just literally in debt because my siblings are going after the estate. So between the legals and my health, I've not been able to do anything very much.
Okay, and sir, You stated you have $250,000 worth of vehicles in your driveway. What year are
Correct.
those vehicles?
Pardon?
What year are the vehicles in the driveway?
The one Mercedes is a special edition. It's an E55 AMG. The other
What-
Mercedes, I'm sorry,
What year?
2004.
Okay, the other, is it the other one a Mercedes also?
Correct. It's a C300, which belongs to my wife.
Okay, what year is that?
I believe it's an 11.
Okay. And the motorcycle, what year is that?
It's a special edition 93. It's the 90th anniversary.
Hmm. And these are worth a value approximately $250,000, correct?
Well, when they were new,
Well, that was your
the
testimony earlier.
motorcycle, I paid $6,000 for it 5 years ago. The Mercedes, my Mercedes, I got at the auction for $22,000. Doesn't matter what it's worth, but that's what I paid for it.
Okay, but,
My wife
Sure.
bought her Mercedes. I had nothing to do with her Mercedes.
okay, but sir, can you agree that your property is unsightly as it stands?
Oh, 100%. I agree with you. It makes me sick coming home to it, especially that I've spent so much to beautify it. But I
Okay,
needed to
but-
prove a point.
Sir, have you read the bylaw under the sections that you were charged under?
Yes, I have. But
Okay,
until I could get a day in court, I wasn't going to do anything because up to this last letter was the only time that I was able to find out that I can appeal.
okay, but my question to you was when you received any other of the fines, notifications, did you get warnings?
No, I didn't. I got a fine
Okay.
2 weeks after the fact.
No, this time, prior, have you received any warnings?
No, I did not get any warnings.
Okay.
When Ryan, I believe his last name was Watts, him and I finally, I mean, unfortunately, I chewed his head off the first time I met him, but him and I developed a really good rapport, and I was working with him, even though he understood that I was sick. There wasn't an issue.
Okay, so Mr. Reno, Ryan, Mr. What? Is he a bylaw officer?
Yes, he was at that time.
And you knew he was a bylaw officer at that
He
time?
presented himself as a bylaw officer.
And did he present to you or tell you in any way what you needed to do?
Yes, and because he understood of my health, he would also constantly give me extensions, and he wasn't charging me anything or a fee of any sort. And I was trying to work with him, but unfortunately, I was getting really sick at that time and doing treatments.
Okay, so sir, you're having surgery tomorrow. What is the length of recovery for your surgery?
Undetermined. It depends on how my body reacts or to the treatments and the surgery.
Okay, so sir, is it your intention not to retain anybody to clean this up?
Oh, if this all goes away and I prove my point, absolutely. I got everything. I enjoy my driveway. You think I don't enjoy my home? I
Okay,
needed to have my day in court to prove that this is personal prosecution. And the only complaint, legitimate complaint, was my neighbor who's trying to sell the house because it's a rental property, that he called the city, and that's why this last order came in play.
okay. Two more questions for you, sir. When you say you're going to clean up the property, does that include the garage doors, the side of the driveway, and the backyard?
Yes, those containers originally were ordered to be put in my backyard.
Sir,
Put
are
all my
you,
materials and tires and everything in those containers.
okay, are you aware if you can have those containers in your backyard?
Yes, they apply with the height and limitations as a shed, a garden shed or a backyard shed.
Okay, are you,
5 foot by 7 foot by 8 foot long.
okay,
They comply
about-
within, they're not permanent structures. They're on a platform. And it's no different than any garden shed.
okay. And sir, all of the debris that's around. If it doesn't all fit in those containers, what do you intend on doing?
Like I said, the tires will all go underneath the deck I've always stored all my tires, my riding mower. That's the whole reason I had that elevated deck. That's a 10 by 20 concrete slab that's underneath that deck that I use for storage.
Okay, so is there any reason why you could not have done this before November 2020?
Because I wanted to prove my point.
Okay,
I was being harassed.
okay. Thank you. I have no other questions, Mr. Chairman, for Mr. Areno. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle. Mr. Areno, this is technically your opportunity to present any reply evidence. Essentially, you would be responding to the evidence elicited by Ms. Doyle. So if you do have any reply evidence, please confine it to the questions that Ms. Doyle asked you, and please don't try to branch out into any other areas of information. Thanks very much.
Like I said, in the middle of November is when I first received the containers. They were delivered on a Friday evening about 8 o'clock. First thing at 8:45 on Monday morning, Jason was all ready, which I presented videotapes. There was already in my house at 8:45 Monday morning to write up a complaint. They weren't even on my property 72 hours. So, that's where I get angry. So, and I had explained to Jason on the Tuesday when I met him face to face that the containers were there to clean up everything. But yet it wasn't, I'm still getting violations for having structural building on the property. When there's signs on it that says rental, secure rentals. But he knew they were there. But yet I'm still getting violations, structural building on the driveway. So, I got fed up, angry. I got sick, which didn't help much. And I'm going, this is ridiculous. They weren't even on my property 72 hours. And that's when I said enough is enough. And I leave it at that. I'm sorry. I really apologize. I do not. If you come and see what I have on the inside of my home, that's not like me. I've got a Lincoln Continental. I've got 2 Mercedes, high-end motorcycle. I'm not one to walk around with beat up vehicles, or this kills me to come home every day to see this.
Yeah, Mr. Areno, this sounds like something you might want to tell the committee in your conclusions, which you'll have the opportunity to do shortly. So, so thanks for your reply evidence. At this time, what I'm going to do is open the floor up to members of the Property Standards Committee. If there are any items of clarification that the committee needs in order to make your individual decisions, please raise your hand. You can ask the property standards officer, you can ask the prosecutor, you can ask the appellant for any clarification. And I see Mr. Kinsella, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 questions for the prosecutor. We have an order against the mother, Emilio. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Kinsella.
Okay. Can you explain to me, according to the evidence from her son, she passed away November 17th in 2021, and yet the order was issued March the 2nd. Oh, sorry, March 2020, sir?
That's correct.
Okay, so on November 17th in 2020, this order was issued March 2nd, 2022. How do we make a deceased person comply to the order?
The order is issued to an owner of the property and any occupants. We were not notified of the defendant's mother passing away. So the order would be issued to anyone that's associated with the property or any occupant of the property.
Okay, but the evidence presented by the officer says you just did by a tax roll. Is that correct?
That's correct, and Mr. Areno.
Yes. And there's been no evidence presented about a title search done on the property. Was that correct?
It's, with all respect, Mr. Kinsella, I was asking if there was any questions of the officer. I hadn't concluded our evidence.
Okay, all right.
And the tax roll was an exhibit that was shown.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Thank you.
And my other question is section 19.1 of the bylaw, where it's specified about the doors and windows.
Yes,
Okay. No, I can't find in that section that it mentions anything with specific to garage doors. Can you look in the definition of doors to see that in fact covers garage doors? Because that looks like it's interpreting doors and windows as just exterior doors and windows. But I don't see
believe
any specification about garage doors.
I don't believe it's specific to the garage doors, but I would direct you to section 4 of the bylaw. And it says, the standards of maintenance on property as prescribed in part 1 and part 2 of the property. It's everything must be functional and operational with it and unsightly. And no person shall occupy any residence that does not conform with the standards established by the city. They're established as being the standards of maintenance and occupancy. The doors are not maintained, they're not functioning properly. One of them, as we showed in the picture, is basically kicked in, for lack of a better term. And the other one is off the tracks, the officer testified.
Okay. And thank you for that point of clarification. I was just wondering if there was a specific definition with regards to that. Thank you for providing that information to me.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kinsella. Any other questions of clarification from any other members of the committee? Seeing none, I have no questions myself. So at this time, I would call upon the respondent, City of Barrie, to make their closing submissions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the committee. At this time, I would ask the committee to review all the evidence. This has been an ongoing matter for the city for quite some time, and Mr. Reno has acknowledged that. He advised the committee that he started dealing with the bylaw enforcement in 2019. Further, he dealt with Ryan Watts of enforcement in 2020. He's dealt with Officer Jason Shaw in 2021 and 2022. This has been going on for far too long. Mr. Reno has taken no steps to go forward and find out what he wanted to do, what the city was expectations. He's basically sat and wanted to have his day in court. If he had simply made a phone call, he could have had his day in court. It's unfair to the rest of the residents of the city of Barrie to have to view this, the health and safety issue, the sanitary issue. It's unsafe and unsightly. And Mr. Areno, in his own testimony, has said he is not seeking to rectify this until his specific words were, I was waiting for the city to come and clean it up and give me the bill. Well, that time has come. The season is going to change. Soon, everything in a few months will start to be frozen into the ground. So I'm asking that the order be affirmed today and action be taken, please. Those are my submissions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle. Mr. Areno, this is your opportunity to provide your summary for the committee's consideration.
Thank you. Like I said, It bothers me. I do it deliberately. I'll be the first one to admit it because I wanted my day in court. I knew there wasn't any complaints from my neighbors or anybody else. This is the complaints between Jason and Lisa. And they're bylaw officers, and they're literally prosecuting me over it. And now I said enough was enough. When there's rental containers that are not even on my property for 72 hours and he's at my door. This is like unbelievable. There's a neighbor that has the exact same 2 containers in his driveway. And I know that because that's how I found out about the containers to rent. But yet he has no complaints about it. He's got open garbage cans in front of the house. No problem. I get violations for having my grass 6 inches. I do not have a blade of grass on my property, front or back. I applied for a boulevard enhancement permit so that way I can do the armor stones to, do everything. I spent over $80,000 in landscaping, and that's just materials. But when I'm getting prosecuted for literally, I got charged $192. And when you look at the back page, what the violation is, there's nothing. So what am I supposed? So now I get charged $172 for them to come and for me to fix nothing. So really, there's no set fines. So there's nowhere where it's posted that if they come out the first time, it's $105. If they come out the second time, it's $600. If they come out a third time, it's get your act together. Why don't you put it up and put it on a website that, the first visit, they say it's a fee. It's not a fee, it's a fine. That's their way of getting around it. It's not a fee when he's on the payroll of the city. They can't go around charging you a fee for him doing his job. Charge me a fine for breaking the law, that's understandable. But if it becomes a fine, then I have the right to have my day in court. Where it's a fee, I don't have my day in court. And that's when I started saying, you know what? Enough is enough. I want my day in court. Yes, for a year and a half, my house looks disgusting. I'll be the first one to admit it. But once I can prove my point that this is personal harassment and people lose their jobs over it, then I got no problems hiring people to come and do it, providing everything goes okay with my health in the next month or so.
Okay,
And that's all I need to say because it's pointless at this point. Jason is a liar. I'll put that on record.
Okay,
A
Mr.
liar.
Reno. Yeah, I'm going to thank you very much for your closing submissions. I appreciate that. At this time, I'll be seeking a motion from the committee to move into closed session. Purpose of going into closed session will be to obtain advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege regarding the preparation of a decision letter concerning the property standards appeal. The closed session will not be live streamed. May I have a motion to move into closed session by a member of the committee, please? Mr. Kinsella?
Yes.
Second, Mr. Crab. So the committee will now be in recess. I would ask the committee support clerk to move the committee members into a breakout room for deliberations, please.
Okay, doing that now.
Guess we're waiting for the breakout window to appear. Oh, there it is.
Okay, so everybody is okay. Everybody seems to be coming back. So when you're ready, we're good to go.
We're live? Okay. I'll now call the Property Standards Committee meeting back to order. Prior to reading the, sorry, who's that?
My video hadn't appeared, so I was just trying to get it back on so I could see all of the committee.
We knew you were there.
Thank you.
Prior to reading the decision of the Property Standards Appeal Committee, the city or any owner or occupant or person affected by a decision under subsection 15.3, sub 3.1 of the Building Code Act may appeal to the Superior Court of Justice by notifying the city clerk of the city of Barrie in writing and by applying to the court within 14 days after a copy of the decision is sent. The decision of the Property Standards Committee is that the appeal of bylaw 2011-138 by the appellant, John Areno, on behalf of himself and Amelia Areno be denied and that the property standards orders be upheld. This completes the Property Standards Committee meeting agenda for this evening. The Property Standards Committee is adjourned.
If I could ask a question before we adjourn, Mr. Chairman, would that be appropriate?
Well, technically we're adjourned, but go ahead, Madam Prosecutor.
The order is upheld. I'm looking for a time frame when the city can impose the order.
The committee has decided not to impose any time restrictions. The committee will leave that to the discretion of the city.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be clear. Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Committee is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Have